What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and this is a touchy subject. It's bizarre to me that hiring practices, which, as far as I understand, are illegal, continue to be practiced by companies who want to have a diverse workforce, but don't actually want to do the work for it. They want to just exclude a bunch of people from the job and default. Hiring by skin color is not okay. And now we have major players in the DC universe as well as in Wizards of the Coast out in Seattle doing just that. It's interesting, to say the least. Now, I want to remind people that 40% of my viewers are not subscribed. And I'm hoping, really hoping, that today will be the day where I earn your subscription. There's a little red button below the video. And I hope that during this video at some point, you'll click it. So we have two different stories. One, DC Films, New Gods director, Ivana DuVernay, threatens to discriminate against white men when hiring for films. This in the same week where we saw posts like this. Magic the Gathering is looking for writing samples from BIPOC writers. I believe that's Black, Indigenous people of color. I don't even exactly know. For upcoming paid freelance licensed fiction projects. Come help us create stories in our fantasy IP. Now, the reason that this stuff seems to be, I don't know, allowed is because it's not overtly exclusionary. And having a diverse workforce is not inherently anything bad. It's a great thing. I would hope that if I had a job opening, that I would have a wide variety of people from a wide variety of backgrounds that were all equally qualified, hired for the job. But in some cases, that's just not it. In Magic the Gathering, I'm going to guess that a lot of black folks just didn't apply. I mean, that's all I can say about it. This is only after, by the way, Wizards of the Coast, which endlessly virtue signals about how stunning and brave they are as a company, practically throwing their shoulders out, patting themselves on the back. But, you know, interesting fact. And here's one comment that grabbed my attention. Not an expert, but I think it's somewhat hilarious because it's a contract position and there's no federal anti-discrimination protection for independent contractors. Washington itself has contractor protection, but not sure if that would come into play. Why are they saying that? Well, because as far as I know, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but they're basically, what they're doing is essentially illegal in Washington state, from what I understand. Initiative 200 stopped affirmative action and said that you cannot have the state or a preference, cannot have or state a preference when hiring. Then Initiative 1000 undid it. Then in 2019, the implementation was blocked by Referendum 88, so it's currently illegal for her to tweet what she really did here. And ultimately, what Wizards of the Coast has done here is, one, not hire black people. Two, never shut up about diversity and inclusion. Three, get busted for not hiring black people. Four, illegally hire black people. This tip was sent to me by an old friend in the Magic the Gathering community, Desolator Magic, and what he's saying here is absolutely true. You see, it's straight racism and people cheer about it. Welcome to 2020. Yes, and yes, I want diversity in Magic and everywhere else, but this is not the way. Not doing the thing you're supposed to fight. I would love to leave my honest opinion, but your company has gone out of the way to silence dissenting thought, so in lieu of an opinion, I'll remind everyone of that. Affirmative action at work. In Washington State, this against the law opens Wizards and Hasbro to civil lawsuits. Anti-discrimination laws apply to independent contractors as well as employees. I mean, that's illegal. Imagine if you were only seeking white people. See, here's the problem with discussing this, and this is why there's no sponsor in this video because it's spicy. But again, I want to be very clear. Having a diverse workforce is awesome. Okay, there are a lot of intrinsic benefits that happen to it, and me, as who has worked in large office settings that always generally looked the same, it was boring. All right. But at the end of the day, you need to hire the right person for the right job. And if you change only one word of this sentence, it becomes immediately deplorable. All right. The problem is, if you say anything, there will be people that call me racist simply for pointing out that this is not the way, in my opinion, that this is, from what I can tell, an illegal hiring practice. And thirdly, not going to make those hirees very loved by their coworkers. If you don't think that people inside that building have friends and family who wanted to apply for jobs and that they're going to look at whoever they hire and say, oh, now I know why, you're wrong. So this is not the way. Actively discriminating against a group of people to fix your own problems in hiring. And oh, by the way, do you know what the most likely scenario is here? This is the most likely scenario. Black folks weren't applying. Because to me, obviously, there's no, I mean, the color of one's skin has nothing to do with whether or not you be good at writing books or stories, fantasy stories. Of course not. So either Wizards of the Coast is admitting that they had well-qualified black people that they didn't hire because they were black, which was a pretty shocking admission, or they're admitting, which is what I think more likely, that black folks simply don't apply for this type of job very often. And you have this DC Films New Gods director, Ava, threatened to discriminate against white men when it comes to hiring for films. Her threat came in response to a Twitter thread from Nicole French detailing a number of people objecting to Carlo Handy seeking out black union editors. Again, this is discrimination by showing preference. Again, change the word black to white. Reread that job listing and ask yourself how people would react to that. Heck, ask yourself if that's okay. Because that, of course, would be racist too. All right? Local ice cream shop encouraging only white men to apply to scoop ice cream. Imagine the story. There's a big issue here with race and tokenization. And in my opinion, a pretty shocking admission by some people who clearly think that black people are inferior to them. All this kneeling, all this, we've got to make special exceptions for people because of the color of their skin. To me, it seems like you think they need it. To me, it seems like you might have an inferiority issue or a superiority complex when it comes to black folks. I mean, I can't know that for sure, but look around at all the people kneeling and doing all this weird stuff. It's like the new religion. Man, black folks have done some amazing things. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a nice, diverse group of employees. But I wonder what some of these, in particular, these white savior complexes, must really think about black folks. They must really think that they need this extra help, that they must think that they're inferior. I don't really know any other way to look at it. Now, yes, of course, some of them don't hold these opinions and they're just trying to do what they think is right. But when you put thousands of these people who all echo the same sentiment, you start to wonder, you at least wonder if they have some deep-rooted issues that they think they need to make things easier on people based on the color of their skin. French wrote, today a black film editor posted in a Facebook group for Hollywood editors looking to connect with other black editors, as there is a severe underrepresentation in post-production and they can be hard to find. You say today a black, okay. She added, what ensued was a slew of white editors who immediately objected to the post. asking for it to be taken down by moderators, and accused the poster of breaking the law, discriminating against whites, fanning anti-white racism against them, and insulted black editors while white editors were speaking up for diversity. Very true. French then shared a screenshot of the original post from Ricardo Handy. Here's a better look. Now you see James Atkinson. Ricardo Handy, thanks for doing this. French would then proceed to attempt to shame a number of editors who objected to the post and targeted the companies they worked for. They started with Nathan Lee Bush. Look, what we're asked to tolerate. The people openly and proudly practicing racism are the ones calling everyone this to shut them down. And everyone who dares speak up is canceled. Their livelihood and dreams stripped from them by the braying mob. You know, it's interesting to me. Here's a cinematographer saying that. Fine, I'm going to start preferencing the wrong/bad race and gender in my hiring from now on. See how many clap emojis I get. People have really become confused about reality. Discrimination was bad before, but now discrimination is good, but only when applied against bad groups. How underdeveloped does your capacity for reason have to be? Pretty woke. It's pretty based and red-pilled. I mean, honestly. But, you know, things obviously go on and on. You see Nicole French going on to cancel everybody. You know, all sorts of stuff like this. It's insane. In response to the new thread, New Gods director Ava DuVernay, I keep saying that wrong. I'm not sure where the emphasis is. Threatened the individuals French had targeted, and one would have to assume other white men who might apply for a job under her. She wrote, "Everyone has a right to their opinion, and we, black producers with hiring power, have the right to not hire those who diminish us." Well, that's awfully, awfully slimy. I mean, that's awfully, I mean, we know what the implication is. She went right up to the line. So, to the white men in this thread, if you don't get that job you were up for, kindly remember bias can go both ways. This is 2020 speaking, she added. I mean, to me, the implication is obviously bad in her opinion, but it's also bad in the other. All of this is bad. You're supposed to hire the best person for the job, all right? If you don't think you have enough diverse people applying, maybe just accept the fact that maybe they aren't interested in that field. It's possible. Do more to recruit them in ways that are not divisive and exclusionary. Saying, quick, we've got to fix our diversity ratio. Hey, black folks, apply. We want to, I mean, imagine being black and having to grapple with the fact that you probably only got this job because you're black. How insulting is that? It's wrong to exclude any group of people for anything in this in hiring practices. I mean, that's why we have laws surrounding that. I'm really, really looking forward to people kind of dialing things back a little bit. Look, again, and no matter how many times I say it in this video, people will disingenuously interpret this video, but having a diverse group of people is a good thing in general. It's not inherently good, I suppose. It's not inherently better for the company, but if that's something you strive for, that's okay. I'm just saying that hiring specifically one color of skin to get your digital backpats isn't doing any favors to the black community, and it's not doing any favors to your workplace either. To me, discrimination is discrimination, regardless of the color of the person's skin or their gender who is on the receiving end of it. Apparently, that concept is a post-fact era in 2020. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.